أشكر رئيس الجمعية العامة.
I thank the President of the General Assembly, and I now invite His Excellency Mohammad Mustafa, Prime Minister of the State of Palestine, to make a statement.
صاحب السمو الأمير فيصل.
Your Highness Prince Faisal bin Farhan, Your Excellency Minister Jean-Noël Barrot, Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Philemon Yang, President of the General Assembly, Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegations, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. At the outset, I would like to express once again the appreciation of the State of Palestine to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and France for their leadership and for presiding over this important United Nations conference. I would also like to thank the states that have chaired the working groups and all the states and organizations participating in this international conference for the peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine and the implementation of the two-state solution. We have been waiting for long years for a genuine international intervention that would move us towards a peaceful, just, and comprehensive solution to the Palestinian question and the independence of the State of Palestine in implementation of the two-state solution on the basis of resolutions of international legitimacy for many years. And in this period of waiting, we have lost what we have lost, and we have suffered immensely. Therefore, this international conference must constitute a turning point in which positions and decisions are translated into immediate and unprecedented practical steps to stop the genocide and end the Israeli occupation, uphold the Palestinian right, and help an independent Palestinian state on the basis of two-state solution take shape in accordance with the resolutions of international legitimacy, which opens the way towards peace, security, stability, and prosperity in our region for the benefit of all peoples and states. Your Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished delegations, in the Gaza Strip, there are all kinds of death. Palestinians die by being targeted. They die by being burned alive. They die out of the cold, out of hunger, out of thirst, out of disease, out of grief, and out of fear. And they send us every day, every moment, for more than 20 months, a distress call to save them from this killing, destruction, and disregard for their lives. How has this devastating war not stopped for our people yet? How come there's no stop to this countless innocent lives lost? How is it possible that there's no stop to the starvation, which is now a declared policy and a clear plan for displacement? Do not accept from Israel any excuse or justification for targeting Palestinian civilians, doctors, humanitarian staff, journalists, and the imposition of a policy of collective punishment on the Gaza Strip and its inhabitants without exception, as well as the destruction of homes, hospitals, schools, mosques, churches, even graves, and all the elements of life in Gaza, and preventing the entry of aid and obstructing its safe distribution and killing who seek to receive some aid. This war of extermination must stop immediately. The killing of Palestinians must stop immediately. Humanitarian aid must be brought in immediately through all land crossings. Hostages and prisoners must be released immediately. The displacement must stop immediately. Israel occupation forces must withdraw completely from the entire Gaza Strip. And we ask you to take the necessary measures to stop the aggression, starvation, and displacement, and send a clear message. Enough disregard for the life and dignity of Palestinians. Palestinians are human beings. In this regard, we affirm our support for the efforts of the mediators, Egypt, Qatar, and the United States. We thank them for their effort to reach a ceasefire in Gaza. We also thank all the countries that support our people, their rights, as well as relief efforts, especially the Arab Republic of Egypt and the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. We also thank the International Coalition for the Implementation of the Two-State Solution and the Arab Islamic Committee led by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, distinguished delegations, we affirm the readiness of the State of Palestine to assume full responsibility for governance and security in Gaza with Arab and international support. We also stress that the State of Palestine is the only holder of the right to rule the entire Gaza Strip, and it is the holder of the exclusive right to maintain security. Israel must withdraw completely from the Gaza Strip, and Hamas must relinquish its control over the Strip and hand over its weapons to the Palestinian Authority. We also reaffirm our position rejecting violence and terrorism in all its forms, including targeting and attacking civilians. And on this basis, the State of Palestine is ready to invite a temporary Arab and international support force to support stability by a resolution adopted by the Security Council in order to provide protection for our Palestinian people and to ensure a ceasefire and to support the Palestinian government and its security services, and not as a substitute for it within a framework that contributes to the establishment of an independent Palestinian state based on international legitimacy resolutions and the implementation of the two-state solution. We are also working with brotherly Arab countries and the international community to reconstruct Gaza and prevent the displacement of our people from their land, including by holding an international conference in Egypt to start implementing the Gaza Reconstruction and Recovery Plan and providing it with the necessary support. Your Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished delegations, as soon as you look at the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, you see the intentions and appetite of Israel government and settlers in annexing the Palestinian land and reducing the Palestinian presence on it and ending it if possible, besieging and exhausting Palestinian government and weakening its ability to carry out and fulfill its governmental tasks through political, financial, military pressure. And the last chapter of these policies was the decision by the Israeli Knesset to annex the West Bank. Hence, the international community must move beyond the time of condemnation and denunciation and move to a stage where it forces Israel to cease its annexation practices, settlement, including settler terrorism and violence, killing and captivity, restriction on movements, attacks, and destruction of villages, cities, and camps, and prevention of return to them. Attacks also on Islamic and Christian holy sites, withholding Palestinian tax funds, as well as threatening to paralyze the Palestinian banking sector in an attempt to destroy the State of Palestine and the two-state solution. Your Highnesses, hence, we stress the importance of holding this conference and the issuance of the UN Declaration for the peaceful settlement of the Palestinian question and the implementation of the two-state solution 1 year after the issuance of the advisory opinion of the ICJ. This confirms the beginning of a different approach, different from previous approaches, an approach that is bolder and more capable, that leads us towards the actual implementation of the resolutions of international legitimacy and the embodiment of the independent Palestinian state on the ground and the implementation of the two-state solution on the 1967 borders and the achievement of a future of peace, security, and stability in which all states of the region live side by side and good neighborliness. We hope that the Israelis would seize this opportunity. Your Highnesses, distinguished delegations, we want a free, independent, and sovereign Palestinian state that is modern and developed, that is the source of pride for all the sons and daughters of the Palestinian people everywhere, in which law, peace, and security prevail. We want it to be a state that is not subject to occupation, that is free of violence and terrorism, that adopts a culture of peace, that lives up to the aspirations and enormous sacrifices of our people, that guarantees its rights, freedom, and dignity. in this regard. President Mahmoud Abbas announced at the Arab Summit that comprehensive presidential and legislative elections will be held within a year, as has been done previously in all of our occupied territories, including East Jerusalem, and he asked the international community to provide us with assistance in holding such elections. These will be open elections based on the platform of the PLO and its commitments and the resolutions of international legitimacy under the slogan, "One government, one state, and one set of arms." We are confident that this conference will contribute to ending the war on Gaza, ending the occupation, and embodying the sovereign Palestinian state, including by mobilizing political, financial, and economic support for the Palestinian government so that it can strengthen state institutions and implement the reform plan. Towards that end, we call on the convening of a donor conference as soon as possible to achieve these goals. Your Highnesses, Excellencies, heads of delegations, the Palestinian people have the right to live in freedom and dignity in their homeland. And every people in the world deserves to live in peace and security. However, all this can be achieved only through the realization of the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people. Foremost among them is the right to self-determination, the right to return, and the embodiment of the state of Palestine, an independent state of Palestine on the borders of 1967, with East Jerusalem as its capital, to live side by side in security and peace with Israel. The Palestinian Liberation Organization, the sole legitimate representative of the Palestinian people, has recognized Israel for more than 30 years. While Israel's recognition of the State of Palestine has yet to take place, despite the recognition of the State of Palestine by 149 states. In this regard, we call on all states that believe in the two-state solution and have not yet recognized the State of Palestine to do so immediately, as a real investment in peace, security, and stability. We thank all the brave countries that have recognized the State of Palestine, and we appreciate the historic decision of the French president to recognize the State of Palestine. We also call on everyone to support our full membership in the United Nations and other international institutions, including international financial institutions, and to support efforts for accountability and justice for victims. Your Highnesses, Excellencies, heads of delegations, we stand ready to work with you and with the United States and in partnership with the presidents of the conference, Saudi Arabia and France, and with the heads of other groups and countries participating in the International Coalition for the Implementation of the Two-State Solution for Peace, Stability, and Security for All in the region. This requires a serious path and an irreversible peace agreement between the State of Palestine and Israel within a clear and binding timetable, with international support, monitoring, and guarantees, starting with universal recognition of the State of Palestine and leading to the end of the Israeli occupation and the settlement of all final status issues in accordance with the resolutions of international legitimacy. It is not the fate of our people to live under occupation, nor is it the fate of us and the Israelis to live in a war that doesn't end. We can live in a future of peace and security side by side if we make the right decisions today. We must all take bold and unprecedented steps leading to a just and comprehensive peace in accordance with the resolutions of international legitimacy. Enough injustice, war, occupation, and destruction. We want our people to live in freedom and dignity in their land and the land of their ancestors, and to achieve peace, security, and prosperity in our region, the Middle East, which is the cradle of three heavenly religions, the cradle of light, justice, and peace. I thank you. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you.